I needed about a 20 to 1 to keep up with that thing. Dude, it knocked so, I reeled about 10 times before I ever even caught it. It just goes slack. And I was like, God, is that really one? And I mean, I could not catch up to it. You saw that boil. I mean, it hits there. I don't think that's the same one, which is making me mad. God. It just, God, that one's golden, man. Look how pretty that is. It's crazy, man. I had a bite on the cast before, and I think it's probably the biggest fish I've had since I've been here. I reeled about 10 to 15 times before, and I never caught up to her. She hit that fast and that hard. She lets a giant wake out there. If you want to call it a mud line, it looks like there's a little bit of one starting to form on some of these banks, or at least on this one. Both of them came about right on the edge of that still. If that's the case, then it might get really good and just run that, because we ran right through that whole, this whole area, and haven't really caught anything that good. And then those last two fish, the best two fish, have come right here. All right, so we're coming up on one of these mud lines again, and this doesn't really have a lot of mud in it. It just changes the water color up a lot. To me, mud lines are kind of some of the hardest things to figure out. These are, to me, are really easy, right? You got a windblown bank, and the mud line's only 5 or 10 foot out from the bank. So in my opinion, that's like an easy one to figure out. You see a lot of sometimes mud lines. It's always hard, in my opinion, sometimes to find a mud line in the right area. But once you do, it's pretty awesome. And a lot of times, like here, it just puts the mud line doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. And so you're throwing under a canopy is really kind of what I call it a lot of times. It's just a canopy on top of the water, and man, it just provides cover for them. And so it's like the perfect little ambush spot. And we got like crystal clear water, we can see bottom. But now they feel comfortable up there. They'll get shallower, and they seem to feed a lot better and eat. Like they don't get scared of your bait, you know, like they would normally in clear water. There's one right there, just came right on out of it, just like that. And that's just what's cool about that deal. I mean, that's just perfect example. And like I said, this one is different. Sometimes you see them real crisp, where you'll see a mud line, and I mean, you can draw a line down it. This one actually is kind of like, it's mixing a little bit more. So it's real bad up against the bank, and it gradually gets better. And that one hit a little bit further out, where it gradually got better. But that's, man, these, when you can find them, we've been going down this bank, that's probably number 7. And usually we've been catching fish all out here. Down this bank, we have not caught one close to the boat. Every single one of them is right up there in that mud line. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I've struggled a lot with them because, like I said, it's hard to find them. It's hard to find them on really good, productive banks. But man, when you do, I think they're some of the coolest things to fish, because I mean, it's like anything else. It's like seeing an isolated bush out there. I mean, you know where you're gonna get bit. I know in just that little bit of section, that's where I'm usually gonna get bit. So you can pinpoint it rather than you get out here and they could be anywhere. And what's great too, man, like they're not missing it. Like you're not getting any bites, they're not following it. They hit it. They're all hitting it really hard too. Because we had some other ones in that clear water where they just kind of weren't hitting it hard, but every one of them on this mud line has hit really, really hard. I think that's 100% a product of that mud line, not just, because this is not a good day. It is not it's a you know, cold front blowing. But as you can see how clear it is. I'll show y'all. Like you can see, it's kind of dirty right here. It's crystal right there. It kind of gets okay. And then look at this. You can go from, I mean, it's shallower up there, and you can go from seeing the bottom to just barely seeing the bottom. But I'm telling you, you can see that it's only about a foot underneath the water. Because when you get out of it, I don't know if that makes sense, but see how I stirred it up? You can see how I stirred it up, and it's actually not all the way down the bottom. So they're seeing it perfectly. They're just getting in there and hiding underneath it. Those are, to me, the best mudlines, the ones that are only a foot or two on top of the water, and it's still crystal clear underneath them. A lot of lakes that'll do that, obviously mostly rock lakes. I don't like mudlines where it's just like straight mud. Usually that bottom's mud, so that's usually not good, but a lot of rock lakes will have it, and it's like limestone and stuff like that. So it kind of looks more chalky than mud. Those are my favorite ones. That's the stuff that it really gets on top like a big canopy. And it's kind of like what we got going on right here.